4 years doesn't really feel like it. That 2-year part felt like 10 years, and then the two normal ones felt like about 2 minutes. But I appreciate everybody coming out. It's nice seeing Des Moines' hometown media outlets, getting to know Des Moines' hometown football team. And I get asked the question a lot, how are things going? We're in day 12 or practice 12 right now. As coaches, we joke around all the time, like, what day is it? Well, today's 12, so happy 12. And tomorrow will be happy 13, even though, it's Friday, I think. But anyway, things are going great. And for me, how can they not be going great? Think about the thing that you do in your life that you just enjoy so much. And here I am, getting to coach the game of football with not only a coaching staff that I deeply care about, but then players that I enjoy being around on a day-to-day basis. So, man, things are going great. I really look forward to training camp time because there's very few distractions for these guys. I mean, there's no classes, there's no jobs. I mean, they're here to play football, they're here to learn football, they're here to get to know one another and to grow together as a team. And for me, it is kind of like Christmas for 3 weeks here. So, I just think about something that maybe you really enjoy doing, you're passionate about. Like, let's say, like it's fishing. Like, let's say, man, I just love to go fishing. It's something. Imagine being able to go fishing all day with some of your best friends. Some of the people that you really love. That's what I get to do on a day-to-day basis, and really, that's what we're doing right now. And sometimes on the pond you're not catching the fish, and sometimes on the field things aren't going as well. And so. It's not like there isn't adversity. It's not like there isn't things that we need to continue to improve on. But all in all, all three phases, offensively, defensively, special teams, feels like we're leaps and bounds ahead of where we were a year ago. A lot of that has to do with these guys that are here with me today. A few more guys that are involved with our leadership council have really taken the reins and brought the team closer together than we've ever been since I've taken over. And just the energy, the attitude, the passion that our guys are showing up with every single day, regardless of what day it is, it's really a blessing, and I'm really grateful to be a part of this group. So I'm excited for what's to come. These guys are chomping at the bit to get going. So it'll be 2 weeks from this Saturday. We'll get a chance to open up with the defending national champions, North Dakota State. Bison, and it's one of the leadership guys, Joey Lukrich. He's not up here right now, but he had a thought of the day last night that I thought really rung true. Looking ahead to that game, where problems help sharpen the mind, and a team like North Dakota State, man, that's a big problem. They've won 9 of the last 11, but being able to challenge ourselves, I think, is going to help sharpen our team, and I know we're really looking forward to it, and we're really looking forward to the entire season. So. Again, appreciate everybody coming out, and we're excited to show you what we got.
We'll open up the questions for Coach Stepsis.
What's a game like that, the first game of the season, in terms of playing, a marquee opponent, do for the program and for, I guess, the team to figure out where you are and all that type of stuff?
Yeah, I think it helps us a number of different ways. Number one, just the ability to put them on your schedule to be associated with that team does wonders for the perception, within the community, but then also with recruiting. Like, okay, going to North Dakota State, going to Drake, you have an opportunity to play at the same level. So I think that's big for us, number one. And then just number two, I mean, they are the best of the best. Man, that's the program that everybody's chasing. And I don't care who you are in the FCS or what kind of arrogance you might have thinking that you might be the better team. I mean, they're the ones that have consistently over time, been there at the end. And so for me, to be able to go against that, to feel that, gives our guys an opportunity to see, okay, where do we need to continue to work? Where do we need to continue to close the gap? Because this type of talent, this type of competition is who we're going to have to face if we get a chance to win our league and make the playoffs.
How'd the game come to be? How you guys landed on the schedule?
Well, it's we reach out kind of to regional teams for our non-conference games, and fortunately from a competition standpoint, the the best FCS league is right here in our backyard. So we're talking a lot about NDSU, but I mean you can go 1 through 9 in that league, and there's not an easy team there. They're all really talented, and I think any given Saturday, any of them can beat anybody. So we reach out to different teams within the Missouri Valley, within the Big Sky. Hey, these are our open dates. Do you have something available? And we get it on the books.
You said offense, defense, and special teams had all made massive improvements. With how many close games you guys had last year, which area do you feel like had to make the most games?
Oh, offensively, and then special teams was close. It was a close second there, just because, like you said, a lot of those were one-score games. You think about, 6 of our losses, were by a touchdown or less, and so just thinking about that. Okay, where do we need to make up those points? I mean, we weren't in shootouts. They were low-scoring, tight games. So, whether it was a field goal that we missed in a critical point, whether it's in the beginning of the game, middle of the game, end of the game, or just the opportunity to continue to sustain drives, to finish drives, that's where I've seen the most improvement. In these 12 practices, offensively, to be able to hit explosive plays just makes life easier. All of a sudden, instead of having to have a sustained 12-play, 80-yard drive, man, if you can get half of that in one shot, all of a sudden, man, 40 yards is not a big deal, and we can get points. So just seeing the explosive plays go up, seeing the level of execution, get better, and then I think that side of the ball just has a ton of belief right now, where they're coming off a really great spring where we did turn the corner, and then just continue to build on that. It gets me really excited about the offense, and then special teams, adding a couple weapons. We got a grad transfer, that came in, and he's competing for that kicking job, and those guys they're all a year older, so they've all been in the weight room a year longer. They've all had that many more kicks, and I'm just really excited about those guys being a weapon for us, whether it's scoring points or flipping the field. I talk all the time about not looking at the scoreboard, and the outcome is something that can be a distraction. And so I want to see our team play like that. I showed them an image first meeting at camp of Bo Jackson. I don't know if you guys remember that shot of him running around the left side and then outrunning everybody, going through the end zone and then up the tunnel. And so that image in their minds is, hey man, just because he got to the end zone doesn't mean that he stopped. And for us, just because we're getting to a game doesn't mean that the growth stops, the mentality to continue to move forward stops. So just understanding that we got to stay in the joy of what we're doing. We don't get to do this all the time. Those are some non-measurable things that that I can answer that question with. But a successful season is just going out there and playing like I know we know how to play. Playing with a lot of passion, a lot of fight, a lot of love, and we use those words all the time. Those are our core values, and I've seen us continue to practice, whether it's a day like today where it's a little warm, or whether it's a full padded day or just a helmets day. They're attacking it the right way, and they're not looking for the finish line. They're staying in the moment, which is really great.
Coach, what is it about this team that you think can cause upsets against other teams?
I just think that they've been together a lot and they've worked really hard, and so they've earned the belief in one another, and they've still they still remember past games where we have been either close to an upset or have been the underdog and have come out on top. So I think just everybody staying together from January until now, like it's been a while since we've been able to go through that time, I think is really instilled and earned the belief that they have in one another. So they've earned it for themselves, they've earned it for each other, and I got to give a shout out to our strength and conditioning staff, because again, the work that these guys have put in along with their teammates, with Coach Gabe and his staff, I mean, we look like a different team. We had some alumni come out to a couple practices recently, and like, man, these guys look big, they look in shape, and because they've been working their tails off. And I think when you put that work in, and you have that belief and that confidence and that respect, not only with each other, but for the coaching staff, for the program, knowing the type of tradition that we have, this has been a place that has a lot of pride in the performance over time. The guys that we recruit here, they're going to naturally be positive thinkers, progressive thinkers, They're going to know that, hey, any game that we play, no matter where it is, if we do this the right way, we're going to be in it.
Coaches of this program have such a model of consistency. Are you confident that last year was kind of a blip?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. And again, it's, and I don't want to blame anything or make any excuses. We need to do a better job last year. There's a lot of things that happen, a lot of factors that maybe played into some of those short losses, but I'm not one, and these guys will tell you to play the blame game. When you have tough seasons, it gives you the opportunity to look back and be motivated from those tough losses to be better. And unfortunately, sometimes you got to go through that to grow. And the great programs are the ones that are great over time, and like you said, sustained success. And we had that blip. It caused us to refocus and retool and re-energize and reevaluate what we're doing. And I just love what our team did. And again, I think another positive to having a season where you struggle a little bit is you find out who really wants to be there. And these guys that are here today, and the guys that are on the team, that same team a year ago, there's not some guys left that, and the guys that are here that stuck it out, they saw it through. To me, just means the world. And so they're here for the right reasons. They're ready to go, and they're going to do everything in their power to bring it back to where it was.
Coach, going off of that, kind of, experiencing a tough season and using that as motivation, have you seen that from this group, and kind of which ways have you seen that kind of manifest, and then kind of how much does that excite you to see these guys motivated to really kind of right the wrongs from last season?
Yeah, I think it was the motivation and the drive was always there. I think that's something I don't want to discount. To be sitting in these chairs, wearing that jersey, choosing a place like Drake where there is nothing easy about it. There is the student athlete side, which any sport, to be a student athlete in college is extremely difficult. The time management, but then to do it at a place like this, where you're playing at the level that we're playing against the opponents that we're playing, and then being able to manage the school of it. Like, you can't be here and do it halfway. Like, the minute you step on campus, if you're not on it and on it all the time, it's going to chew you up and spit you out, and you're not going to survive. So, we're very fortunate to recruit the type of guy that not only is a really good player, but also is a really good person that's intrinsically motivated. But coming off the season, it wasn't necessarily seeing the motivation go up. It was just hey, let's get this thing fixed and get this going in the right direction. And then these guys sitting next to me in the leadership group that we have, just embracing that challenge. Sometimes it maybe isn't what you want to do, but it's what's best. And I've never heard them once complain, whine, make excuses. They know, hey, for us to be great, these are the things that we have to do, and they're willing to do it.
Since you've been the defensive coordinator, now head coach, the defense is always kind of reloaded. How do you guys do that once again without Rodgers and Carl?
Yeah, great question. And we have done that over time. So 2014 when I took over, we consistently had great defenses before I got here. All you got to do is look back in the annuals and you see great statistical performances. And I think it's just knowing the system, being able to recruit the system, I think is number one. I mean, we've been running this thing now for 8 years. But number two, the older guys have set the standard, and the younger guys better keep up, or they're gonna be heading out. So that's how that happens. We've always had pretty decent depth on that side of the ball too. So as an older guy leaves, there's a younger guy that is right there to take it. I think the other thing too is we do play a lot of guys on that side of the ball. So when guys graduate, it's not like there's a guy that has never taken a snap in his life. We play more than just the 11 on that side of the ball, man. It's usually 25 to 30 of those guys a game that are getting some snaps. I love talking about, and my last year as defensive coordinator in 2018, the player of the year in the conference was Nathan Clayberg, and I think he averaged like 35 snaps a game. But again, that's just a tribute to us playing a lot of people, us knowing what we're doing, knowing the mentality, knowing the philosophy, and not letting it drop off and not being satisfied for mediocre.
Look at your own
Oh, the best thing about it, I mean, it's these guys. I talk about it all the time. I mean, coaching football is great. I mean, the game is great. I love the strategies, the practice, the game planning. I mean, I grew up around it. My dad was a coach for 40 years. But, the piece of advice that he gave me once I got into it was, man, if you like who you work with, you like who you work for, and you have the opportunity to win, never leave. And so that is consistently on a day-to-day basis. I love who I work with. I mean, these guys are so much fun to be a part of. I mean, imagine, your offices, and like every single person that you work with is doing everything they can to make the place better. And that's what we have, man. We have 114 of those guys, that are they're here for the right reasons. They chose Drake because they wanted something special, something different, something unique. They wanted to have a great football experience, but a great life after football. And these guys are models of that. They're so much fun to work with. I don't need to have a rah-rah speech every day to get them fired up, man. They come in, they tap the sign, they show up, and they're ready to work. So the best part is by far the people here, not only the players, but the coaches, our support staff, our administration, all the way up to the president. I think that's something that I don't know if it gets talked about much, but our president is pro sports, man. I mean, he loves it. He loves coming out to games, whether it's football, tennis, basketball, and he gets into it. I don't know how many presidents are on the sidelines taking pictures and putting it on social media or yelling at the referees to do a better job. I mean, having a guy like that understands that sports are important. They're important for our university because they're bringing notoriety to our school, but a student athlete just brings something extra, not only to our school but to our community when they're done, man. The lessons that our guys have learned in the huddle, on the field, on the court, those are the things that are going to make them successful, and so they know that, they understand that, and that's I'd say my favorite part of coaching, believe it or not, isn't the game days. It's the phone call that I get 10 years down the road of, hey coach, I just got this promotion, or hey coach, I'm getting married, or hey coach, I just had my first kid. Just having that type of impact is really something special that not all professions get a chance to do.
Coach, after a tough season last year, what did you learn about yourself as a coach that will help motivate you and kind of help the team this season?
Man, what didn't I learn? It felt like we screwed a lot of stuff up. I think, at the end of the day, just staying true to who you are, and making sure that you focus on those few things that matter, and I don't think that you can draw this big scope of, hey, we're going to try to do all this stuff. And I think in the game of football, offensively, defensively, special teams, if you do too much, you're not going to be able to do any of it very good. You're going to get C's in everything as opposed to A's in a few things. So I think it's just, taking a look back, having the chance to reflect on, okay, what can we do, from a team building and a relationship standpoint, and what can we do from an accountability standpoint? How can we get everybody on the same page? How can we enhance our communication? How can we, build our team both physically and mentally? Like all of those things, we got to refocus on. And COVID didn't allow us to do that necessarily. We got the season, we got sent home in March, and then we got the season canceled, and then we were playing a season. We had a short break, we were playing another season, and we didn't get a chance to really take a breath and look and figure out some of the things that were broken. So just the ability to reflect and see, okay, where can I improve as a leader, and then how can I empower our team to help lead it? Because at the end of the day, the coach can only do so much, and if the players don't take control, if the players aren't the ones that are bringing guys along, I don't know how good of a team you can be, because coaches, we can't be around for everything. We're not there in the locker room all the time. We're not there in the cafeteria all the time, so having great leadership that you can count on, that is going to reinforce your message. To me, that's probably the biggest thing that we're looking to get back in place that we've had in the past that we didn't have last year.
Coach, you said you've been practicing for 12 days now. What are some of the biggest differences
Yeah, I would say the pace. I think at times, those first couple practices, guys are just trying to get their legs out, from under them. So, I mean, they train their butts off in the summer, but there's nothing like, I can go out here and do a ton of change of direction drills at full speed by myself or sprints at full speed by myself. But the minute I've got to chase a guy down or I've got to run away from a guy, like, the intensity goes way up. So, it takes a toll on your body a little bit. So early on, it felt like we were just trying to get our groove, trying to get rhythm. But today in particular, I felt like our pace is starting to get to where I want it to go. And the pace from an operation standpoint, but also a pace on how we're playing. You see it a lot in some of these preseason games. I don't know if anybody's watched any of the NFL games, but you see teams that have a lot of penalties. So, whether it's those dumb penalties that are before the snap, the false starts, the offsides, the illegal shifts and motions, but then the other penalties like, holding and pass interference, well, that means your pace isn't great. Your pace isn't great at practice, and it's showing up in a game. So I'd say from when we started a couple weeks ago until now, I'm starting to see less grabbing in the play because I'm able to keep up. I'm starting to see us a lot sharper. We keep track of all of our false starts and all of our offsides, and those numbers continue to shrink, which is really good to see.